$600,000 Atlanta home, how much cash do you actually need to buy it? Most people I talk to think it's 120 grand. They guess 20% down plus closing costs and they decide they can't do it. The real number, as little as 30,000, in some cases less. In the next 9 minutes, I'm going to walk you line by line through every dollar and show you the Atlanta specific grant program that can hand you $21,000 at closing that you never have to pay back. Stick till the end. The grant info alone is worth the watch. Quick disclaimer, I'm a real estate agent, not a mortgage lender. Every number in this video is an educated estimate based on May 2026 market conditions. Run your actual file with a licensed lender. If you need help, we can help with the introduction. Okay, let's go. Every Atlanta home purchase breaks into 4 cash buckets. Bucket 1, your down payment. Bucket 2, your closing cost. 3, your reserves and inspections. And number 4, moving in. Furniture, locks, window treatments, the stuff lenders never tell you about. Let's break each one down for a $600,000 Atlanta home. Down payment, the big number. On a $600,000 home, you have 3 real paths. FHA, which is 3.5% minimum down. On $600K, that's about $21,000. FHA also requires a 1.75% upfront mortgage insurance premium. That is another 10.5 grand. But the good news is you can roll that into your loan. You do not bring it to closing as cash. Number 2, conventional, 3% down minimum for first-time buyers on a conforming loan. On $600K, that's about $18,000. You'll have private mortgage insurance that is an extra monthly payment until you hit 20% equity, but no big upfront premium. Conventional is usually the smarter math if your credit score is over 740. Number 3, 20% down, the old school method. On $600K, $120,000. No PMI, lower monthly payment, but that's a brutal cash hurdle for most Atlanta buyers, and the math rarely justifies it unless you have got family help. Real talk, for most first-time Atlanta buyers in 2026, the smartest play is conventional 3% down if your credit is strong. FHA if your credit needs a little work. We'll get to the assistant programs in a minute. Closing costs, the most Googled question, the most misunderstood number. On a $600,000 Atlanta home, expect closing costs in the range of $12,000 to $30,000. That is 2 to 5% of the price. Here's exactly what is in that range. Lender fees, origination, underwriting, processing, $2,000 to $4,000. Title insurance and attorney fees, Georgia's an attorney closing state, so add $2,000 to $3,000 to that. Prepaid property taxes, typically 2 to 6 months of taxes held in escrow, could be $3,000 to $5,000 depending on the county and the home. Prepaid homeowners insurance, usually a full year up front, $1,200 to $2,500. Recording fees and transfer taxes, small line items totaling around $500 to $1,000. Per diem interest, depending on when in the month you close, usually a few hundred. Added up on a conventional $600,000 loan, plan for $15,000 to $18,000. On an FHA with prepaids, you can hit the upper of the same range. Now the part that nobody talks about, lenders want to see reserves, meaning cash you have after closing. 2 months of mortgage payments is the standard floor. On a $600,000 home with taxes and insurance, that is somewhere between $6,000 and $10,000 sitting in your account on closing day. Inspection, $400 to $700. Pay it always. Survey if required, $300 to $500. And moving, average professional move in Atlanta for a 1-bedroom going to 3-bedroom, $1,000 to $2,000, plus furniture you need that you do not have. Plus window treatments, plus the locksmith on day 1. Real talk, budget about another $5,000 to $8,000 for life after closing, the number nobody puts on a calculator. Add it all up, a $600,000 Atlanta home with no assistance, conventional 3%, $18,000 down, plus $16,000 closing, plus $8,000 reserves, plus $6,000 move-in, $48,000 total. FHA 3.5 down with prepaids, $21,000 down plus $18,000 closing plus $8,000 reserves plus $6,000 moving up to $53K. So the realistic range is $48,000 to $53,000 on a $600,000 Atlanta home. Let me show you how you can get in that home for half of that. The Home Atlanta 4.0 program. This is a 3.5% grant. Yes, I said grant toward down payment and closing costs for qualifying buyers using FHA or VA loans inside the city of Atlanta. It never has to be repaid. It is not a loan and it is not deferred. On a $600,000 Atlanta home, that is $21,000 handed to you that covers your entire FHA payment. Qualifying criteria, there are income limits. Those tier with household size. You have to use an approved lender and you have to live in the home as your primary residence. You have to take a home buyer education class, which is typically free and takes about 6 hours. If you qualify and you do not take this, you are leaving 20 grand on the table. End of story. 2 more programs to know. Georgia Dream, the state level program, up to $10,000 towards down payment and closing for first-time buyers under income limits. Stacks with some other assistance. Invest Atlanta is the other, the city's umbrella for several other programs, including teacher, public safety, and healthcare worker boost. If you're in one of those professions, you may qualify for extra cash on top of the base grant. Links to all 3 programs in the description. Open them, read them, apply early, and don't hesitate to call to ask us questions. If you're thinking about buying, do 3 things this week. 1, run your numbers with a local Atlanta lender. Number 2, check whether you qualify for any of these grants. Comment your current price range below and I will point you to my next video that fits. Next week, I'm dropping the 3 in-town Atlanta neighborhoods I would buy in tomorrow with my own money. You'll not want to miss it. And as always, #LiftAll.